everybody, it's Julia here. Lovely to see you all. You can see that I'm just tidying away from a trip to the beach where we've done some fishing, and we had the crab lines out. They're all in a bit of a tangle now. They need sorting out, and we've had a lovely time with buckets and spades at the beach. We're going to be reading a story today about Jesus and being near the sea, being near the lake, and having a conversation with some friends of his. But before we read that story, Hilary's going to come on in just a minute and read us that story. I've got a couple of jokes for you to do with the sea. Let's see how we got on. Okay, so you might know this one, okay? Why did the lobster blush? Why did the lobster blush? Because the seaweed. Yeah, funny. We know that one. What about this one though? What do you call a lazy crayfish? What do you call a lazy crayfish? A slobster. That's a good one, isn't it? Yeah, I like that one. Crayfish are a bit like lobsters. I've got one more. Why did the octopus cross the road? Why did the octopus cross the road? To get to the other tide. I'm sure you've got better ones at home. Some sea jokes or some watery jokes just to get us ready for our story today. Our story today is all about people who chose to follow Jesus. So following on from what we did last week in our live session, here is Hilary with our story this week. I'll see you at the end after you've done some prayer with Becky. I'll see you right at the end for a craft activity. So settle down and enjoy the story. See you in a bit.
Hello everyone, I'm Hilary and I'm going to be bringing you the Bible reading today. I've got quite a collection of Bibles with me here today, but the Bible is all just one book really. It's all about God's love for his people and how he sent his son Jesus. But you can get different translations of the Bible. So for example, this one is it's the Good News Bible, and that's going to be the version of the story I'm telling you today. And I was given this when I first started at secondary school, and we were told to really look after it. And so we made cases for it in DT. That was one of my first memories of secondary school. But as I've got older, I've also collected other Bibles. Some have got beautiful covers like this one. This was a gift from my daughter, and that's a really lovely version. This is a Bible. This is called The Message, and in this the words of the Bible are put in really plain language, really easy to understand, and sometimes it's nice to read something that's really easy to understand. The Bible has also been translated for younger children. You might have something like this at home. It's maybe got some pictures in and some really well-known stories that you might know. And you might have heard us read from something like this, or the Lion Storyteller Bible in some of the groups that you've come to. About 10 years ago, I bought this great big one because this has lots of notes inside it to help me really start to think about what the words of the Bible mean to me. I'm going to read you a story today from Luke. From Luke chapter 5, I'm going to read verses 1 to 11. This is how Jesus calls his first disciples. One day, Jesus was standing on the shore of Lake Gennesaret while the people pushed their way up to him to listen to the word of God. He saw two boats pulled up on the beach. The fishermen had left them and were washing the nets. Jesus got into one of the boats, it belonged to Simon, and asked him to push off a little from the shore. Jesus sat in the boat and taught the crowd. When he finished speaking, he said to Simon, "Push the boat out further to the deep water, and you and your partners let down your nets for a catch." "Master," Simon answered, "we worked hard all night long and caught nothing. But if you say so, I will let down the nets." They let them down and caught such a large number of fish that the nets were about to break. So they motioned to their partners to get the other boat to come and help them. They came and filled both boats so full of fish that the boats were about to sink. When Simon Peter saw what happened, he fell on his knees before Jesus and said, "Go away from me, Lord, I'm a sinful man." He and the others with him were all amazed at the large number of fish they'd caught. The same was true of Simon's partners, James and John, the sons of Zebedee. Jesus said to Simon, "Don't be afraid. From now on, you'll be catching people." They pulled the boats up on the beach, left everything, and followed Jesus. That's a very well-known story, but I wonder what it's saying to us. Well, let's have a think. What did Jesus actually do? Jesus called these people by name. He said, "Come and follow me. Drop everything and follow me." So although Jesus knows a lot of people, he knows each of us. He knows what we're good at and what we're not good at. He knows the things that make us smile. He knows the things that make us sad. And so when he asks us to do something, when he calls us, we know we can trust him. We can be on his team. And Jesus actually asks all of us to try and be on his team. We don't have to be special to be on his team. He loves us just the way we are. So when Jesus calls us, we don't need any special skills. We don't need to be big and clever. We don't need to be strong. Jesus takes us just as we are. Because to be on Jesus' team means that he can give us courage and strength, and he will give us just the right job that is right for our skills, for whoever we are, if we listen to him. Our lives can be changed if we choose to follow Jesus. So I wonder, are you ready for your life to be changed? Take care now. Bye.
Hi, just in case this is your first time with us, my name is Becky and I am part of the children's ministry team here at St Mark's. For today's craft activity, you will need a sheet of paper and some pens. This is what the finished result will look like. To start with, you will need to fold the piece of paper like this. Now, draw an outline of a simple fish on the top fold, but cut it out so that there are 4 fish joined together. On one fish, I would like you to write your name, and on each of the other fish, write the name of someone else. Maybe you could even decorate your fish. Pray that God will provide the right time and place for us to hear something about Jesus and how much he loves us. Pray that God would help us to be bold and courageous and speak about Jesus and his call on our lives.
Hi, welcome back everybody. Hopefully you have enjoyed this story read to us by Hilary and you have begun to think about who you would like to pray for with Becky. What I thought we'd do is to make something that would help us to remember that key verse from the story. The key verse from the story that says, Do not be afraid. I will make you fishers of people. Do not be afraid. I will make you fishers of people. And this verse is so important, isn't it? Because it reminds us that it's God's power. He is the one that will do it. He says, I will. So it's in his strength that we do it. We don't have to worry ourselves. And when we pray for those people, like Becky has encouraged us to do, that it is in God's power and in God's strength, and he will do it. That's what he promises to do. You might remember right at the beginning, I was putting away all of those fishing nets and crab lines because we'd been fishing and everything we caught really was so little that we had to put it back in the sea. But when Jesus says that he wants us to be on his team, he catches us and he keeps us, and we can stay with him on his team. So what we're going to do is we're going to make ourselves something that will help us to remember that amazing promise. So here's what you need. You'll need some scrap card. I just went to the recycling box and got out a few bits and pieces that I thought would be useful. Nice strong card, but not so strong I can't cut it, because I need some scissors, I need some glue, and I'll need a pen. And also I've got here all sorts of scrap bits of paper. I've got some old wrapping paper that we've used in the past. I've got some foil which was used last weekend. It's part of our Sunday dinner, but I've cleaned it up, but it's scrap now, so I can use that. I've got some, also found some labels, some lovely shiny labels here, and they're small enough to be able to use. So maybe you'd like to collect up some craft paper and some old wrapping paper, some interesting bits and pieces that we can use to decorate our fish. And I found a picture of a fish on the internet, and I've cut it out and I stuck it on some card, and then I cut it out again. So I've got my lovely strong fish, and then I've cut out some scale shapes. Can you see? I've begun to do that. And what I do is just take my scraps and bits and pieces and make a sort of a scale shape. I'm making a sort of a U shape with my scissors, but it doesn't really matter what shape you make. And then as I cut out the little scale shapes, I put some glue all over the fishy bit that I want to cover, and I use my little scraps here to make the fish's scales. And you might like to keep on doing that, and then you've got a lovely thing that you could hang or stick on the fridge, or maybe you might like to make a small one to use as a bookmark, or just have it beside your bed to help you to remember that amazing promise. Do not be afraid, for I will make you fishers of people. God gives us the power to help to build his team. Enjoy your craft activity, everybody, and I look forward to seeing you next time when we're online, and maybe next week if you're in years 4, 5 and 6. See you at church next week. Bye for now.